Well, welcome to another session of Chamber Chatter. I'm Rosemary Hughes and my co-host Carol Churchill. We are very anxious to start our fall segment today, and we can't think of anyone better to introduce our fall session than the guests we have on right now. They are from Pinctada Banquets and Events, and they have a great story to tell. And Carol, what do you think?
I think we talked before the show, and it's a great company. They're two people with great backgrounds, great personalities. So I don't know. I just thought I'd start, and thank you, Rosemary, for the introduction. Welcome, Dan and Yemisi. I'd just like to say, when we were talking a little bit beforehand, you're event planners,
Yes.
and we talked about the fact that planning an event is 20% planning an event and 80% planning for the unexpected. So.
right.
That's right.
So, in your capacity, from planning events myself, I know just how difficult it can be, and you really don't know how difficult it is till you kind of dive in, and then you say, oh, geez, I didn't think of that, well, what if this happens? And then you get so caught up in the details. I can see where it would really help to have someone kind of ease the pressure and kind of take the load off you. So what kind of events do you guys, what kind of events do you manage?
Well, we handle a variety of events, small events, large events, everything from your corporate holiday event to your wedding to a retirement party. So we handle big and small and everything in between.
Oh, okay. So you handle birthday parties even?
Exactly. Birthday parties. We've actually done receptions, cocktail receptions. We've also had birthday parties for children, birthday parties for adults. A variety of social and as well as corporate and organizational functions,
Including community events.
including community events. So some of our, during the summer, we do have a lot of outdoor events, your festivals and block parties, certain those type of events.
Well, in talking to you earlier, I know we were kind of overwhelmed at how much you do. And I know you talked a little bit about your background, so we asked you that you were both so involved with community even before you got into this business. You had both done things, and you had both known each other for such a long time, which was wonderful too, so you became good friends.
Yes.
We talked about how listening to both of you talk, which I will let you do, but you have so much spirit that's emanating from both of you, and so much love of what you're doing. And the name of your business reflects this. It's
Yes.
Pinctada.
It's Pinctada. Yes.
And you explained to me what it meant, and maybe you'd like to just.
Oh, absolutely. Pinctada is the scientific name for the black pearl. And we searched high and low. We were we put a lot into the type of work that we do. So the name that we chose would have to reflect the brand or the quality of what we believe in our spirit to bring to each and every one of our clients. So Pinctada is actually the name Black Pearl. We searched high and low for the proper name for the company. The Black Pearl, through our research, was taken by so many, such a variety of restaurants, which reflects food and seafood and so forth. So we delved in a little bit further and decided to do a little bit of research, and we came across a scientific name for the black pearl, which is called Pinctada. And Pinctada, meaning the black pearl, is synonymous for quality and the time that it takes to develop,
Yes.
and just synonymous with the longevity of the creation of a pearl itself. So it's sought after, and so with the quality that we wanted to bring to our clients and to each and every, whether it be a birthday party, a corporate event, a wedding, a gala, any type of event, we knew that we were looking for the accurate name. And coincidentally, Pinctada also, to us, the Black Pearl was one of the favorite movies that we both enjoy was the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was sought after is actually that wonderful ship and being called the Black Pearl. So we searched high and low, and once we had discovered that name, we just fell in love with it.
That's fascinating, though, isn't it? Huh?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about your backgrounds?
Well, for me, I have a corporate background. I've been in financial management, everything from insurance to banking to financial management, and I was pretty much my whole career was in that environment. So I did but as I grew in my career, I also found myself being drawn to events for my employer. So I did a lot of everything from flu shots for the employees, the holiday parties, orientations for new employees, and just pretty much anything that required putting together an event that would draw in the members of the organization, the employees of the organization, whether it was telling them how good the benefits were and how to use them, or educating them on retirement planning. So I got a lot of satisfaction of putting these things together, and it became a very significant part of my job. It wasn't a situation where the employer had to go out and get someone. They had the person in-house. We were a small team that was handpicked, and we did those type of events, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. So that's where I come in.
Okay.
And my background is in facility management. I had done that for about 20 years. And while doing this, I would also have my other volunteer job would be to develop organizations. I have established with co-founders senior programs for the elderly, where they would need to have information pertaining to senior care, transportation to go shopping, and a variety of needs for the seniors as they get older. If they were to fall, what are the protocols, who would they call, and so forth. So we would bring speakers from various agencies in to meet with the seniors once a month at one location in Cambridge. I've also been involved in pretty much putting together youth camps with a team where we would take these youths to Maine or New Hampshire, where they would have the entire summer, not the entire summer, but a certain portion of the summer. And these are the types of organizations that I've helped develop, which would directly put me in line with putting together events, assembling events, getting teams together, And that is a piece of the background that I've got. So my main work was involved in event management, but also dealing with pretty much the component of management for properties and so forth.
Good.
So at some point, given the backgrounds that you both had and how well you knew each other and worked together on things, you more or less came together to form this business.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
I know just from hearing from some of the events you've done, from people commenting on them, how well you do this. Part of me thinks of I said this to you too, and you know the wedding planner.
Yes. Yes.
And there were so many shows on that talk about planners, and there were bride shows, and not that we concentrate just on weddings, but what goes into what you do, and how many people don't see all the tireless work that you do and the research and everything else about it. And yet you will do other events as well, but everything involves a certain amount of planning.
Oh,
and
absolutely, and that's a great
great
question.
question.
That's a
Yes,
great
yes,
question. Usually before we have a client is when the work starts. We decide that this is generally what we would need to make an event, whether it be corporate. There are certain basic things. You need a venue. You need a caterer. Generally, there's certain things that you know that you will need in any case. So ahead of time, we vet, we research, we look for those vendors or those organizations or companies that fit the bill, that stand out to us as having the same level of quality and commitment to their service, not just doing a job, but have the same commitment and passion for their work, and it shows. So we seek them out, those types of vendors, and we develop relationships with them. So that's the kind of the first initial part of it. And so when we do have a client where we have a particular job, let's say we have done in the past, we had a project that we had to go out of town for, Bridgeport. And some of this particular one was out of town, it was unexpected, and we had a week lead time. And so what goes into that is lots of planning, lots of understanding what the client wants. We make sure we ask every question that really susses out what their vision is for this event that's happening. And so we determine what needs to be done, how the how the client wants it to look like and how they want it to feel like.
Mhm.
What is the end game? What is the thing, the one or two things that they would like to see at the end of the day? What would please them the most? And so the goal of the event is, for instance, they want everybody to have a good time and be relaxed and stick around so that they hear the presentation towards the end of the event. So everything that's organized or planned around that is to make sure that that goal is accomplished. And most of everything else that's involved is really making sure that we're on point with what they've asked for, and constantly checking in with them, saying this is what we're doing, keeping the communication lines open. When we plan, we sit down together and we map out the entire process.
Absolutely.
We decide it's A, B, C, D. This is how it's going to function. These are the opportunities. These are the threats. Meaning, this is what may not go the way we expected. This is the way it would go on if it went out without a hitch. And we try and make sure we do everything we can to organize and plan for that. So we're planning for the unexpected.
Very much. EMC said it very well. We do the research on the company once we are called in, and we take a lot of pride in the brand, the client, the clientele, and the process.
Yes.
And so we are able to be invited in with the company and its brand, or it could be a client, a birthday party, or bride and groom, and we will ask what are their expectations,
Yes.
what would they like to see, and we are able to take that in, and we are able to give a little feedback on our experience, but we are also able to let them see that what they have, whether it's a cost that we can reduce, or we can, sometimes we have this, someone may want a Rolls Royce and they may not have the funds necessary. With the vendor network that we have, we're able to bring something that may not be a Rolls Royce, but we will educate them that what they have will give them just the right fit and match. So we're able to network with our clientele base and custom match whatever event that we're dealing with. But
Exactly.
the foremost is that to maintain the integrity of the client and their brand, what they would like, and how we can bring what we can to the table. And so that is one of the specialties that we do. We are also called upon very much last minute by many of our clients, and we work well under pressure.
You seem pretty, level-headed, even keel type people.
We're feeling good with the adrenaline rush.
With the adrenaline rush. But we take pride in every client, every person who would call us. We would like to know what their story is, because what they're doing, there is a story why they would like to do it or why they would want to create something. And if we're able to, we are able to bring that experience of over 20
Yes.
years of event planning
That's right.
to the table and educate, but also to receive their vision and sort of help them map out what they would like to have.
Yes.
Someone I know once planned a wedding, and they said that the bride and groom literally called off the wedding because they could not decide between a baked potato and rice.
Oh, come on.
True story. True story. So hopefully you don't have clients that
You
like
probably
that.
do want, even a little, what,
Yes.
nitty
Yeah,
gritty.
every
I
single
think
little
of the
detail.
show Bridezillas. And I'm sure you've dealt with a
Yes,
lot
because
of that too.
you're dealing with a lot of stress,
Yeah.
especially when it's not something that you are naturally
Used to
good at,
doing, yeah.
or you're used to doing,
Yeah.
or you even want to do.
Right.
But it's something that's very important, because it's so important. You don't want to miss a detail. You want everything to be just right, and that's why deciding what meal to serve can be a monumental thing.
Yeah.
And it brings in a lot of stress, and because you're dealing with so many things, and that's where we come in, because we want to kind of take on.
Take the
We want to,
stress away,
take the stress
yeah.
away. We want you to enjoy your event. We want you to, we want to take on that passion that you have for it, and come with that same love and passion for what you want to have done. And so we take it on so that you can just enjoy that. So the goal of a wedding is to enjoy your guests, is to enjoy your special days, to look at your partner and celebrate the new life that's going forward. And you don't want to be thinking about the plates or the decorations or the food. We want to take on that. We want to take away the stress. We want to take away the running around. We want to take away the arguments that you might have with someone, or the frustration. And because what happens is, the things that fall through the cracks are, you end up spending more than you might have intended. You may end up missing something that you would have liked, but you're so busy.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's
If
what
it's
little
complicated,
details,
yeah.
those little
Yeah.
details
Yeah.
fall
Yeah.
through the cracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we tell our guests, have fun, and let's do the work for them.
Yeah.
Well, you brought up a good point earlier, and that is that you have a relationship with vendors, whereas if you're planning either something for your corporation that you work for, or you're planning a graduation party or a birthday party for your son or daughter, you don't know, you know, what restaurant is consistent as far as quality goes and reliability, what other vendors, whether it's the tent company or
Absolutely.
the company that you're getting your linens from, you know, are they reputable? You know, how long have they been in business? What
correct.
exactly can they do? What can't they do? And that's what you bring to the table, where if you're planning your own event, you have no idea. I mean, you've got the internet, and that's about it. I mean, you can only, you know, you can only see so much. So
That's correct.
That's exactly
correct.
right.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
and one of the things that we do is that we are very good at getting the proposals, the easy proposals, the primary proposals with our vendors. So we would eliminate our client from having to think about the logistics of that. We would pretty much, if you need the moon bounce, if you need the tent, if you need the canopies, whether it's a 3-sided tent, we would anticipate that whether it's going to rain. So if
yes,
one
the
were
weather.
to, the weather, the New England weather changes very
Yes.
quickly.
Oh, yes.
So we're able to project and research the season and what would be required for a particular season. So we do a lot of the research for our clients, and so that this is what they would like to have, and we would just look into our data and help them decide that this is the right vendor for them for that to execute a wonderful and seamless, trouble-free event.
That's part of the preparation process. You know, you're looking to see, and that's really what we bring to the table. We're making it easy for you. I mean, you don't have to go looking at 10 different vendors. We're going to tell you the best vendor that's right for what you're looking for, and so it saves you that, and then we're going to save your money, and then we're going to make it easier for you, and we're going to have a quick turnaround, because if you need to get, say, someone who can deliver flowers, you're going to be calling like several flowers, talking and asking for quotes and trying to trust that how long have they been in business. Are you going to sit at the computer or go and visit 3 or 6 different florists trying to find out who's the best one, who has the price? We eliminate all that for you.
One of the interesting things, we had an event where a client was looking to have a particular event where lots of balloons would be required for dropping from the ceiling. And unbeknownst to us, that there was a shortage of helium anywhere in Massachusetts.
That weekend, apparently.
that weekend, that weekend.
Wonderful,
apparently.
wonderful.
And so we got the call and said, well, we would like to have balloons drop from the ceiling. We said, well, there is a shortage of helium. And so we were able to get into the car, get onto the telephone, and we were able to locate one of the only companies within the region who had a surplus of helium. And they had never met us before. And they said, but, I think I would like to work with you guys. And so they were able to give us a huge tank of helium, and we were able to have a seamless event. So we are able to research, and through our vendor network, we're able to, most of the time, not 100% of the time, but most of the time, deliver for our client. So we work hard to make sure that the client has what they would like.
And no event is too great or too small.
Oh, not
either,
at all.
And that's
Not at
what's
all.
nice too. No one should feel intimidated by, well, you do weddings and all these big things, and I'm having this little,
No.
shower or
Oh,
birthday
no, we
party or
would
something.
love
It's
to.
still,
We simply don't see it that way. I mean, every time we come across someone, it's not, we don't say, oh, you're too big or you're too small, we can't take you on. I think we look at what the need is.
Yes.
And we are really touched or affected by what we hear. So we hear, I'm having, I want to have an anniversary, and we're like, ooh, we meet the
right.
people, we enjoy the interaction, we enjoy the story and learning who they are, and I was like, oh, we need to do this. We have so many wonderful ideas.
So you want the personality to
Yes,
come through.
yes.
with
So
that.
we don't,
Okay.
because if we allowed the size to limit us, we would miss out on just meeting so many wonderful people and gaining so many wonderful experiences. And it's always been beneficial to us. We always learn something. So we always keep ourselves open, and we don't limit ourselves at all.
Good.
That is so great. I know, we really welcome you as members of the chamber.
Thank you.
And for
It's a
all our
pleasure.
listeners too. I mean, everybody has some kind of event that they're planning in their life, no matter what it is.
Yes.
And throughout the course of when they, come along. And sometimes it's great to have all that stress taken off you.
Yes.
That's the best thing you do. Just in talking to you and having met you earlier, I feel that, that there's something that emanates from both of you, and I said it before too, about there's a spirit and there's a camaraderie, there's a professionalism, but there's a sense of caring, and you love what you do. It's
Yes.
so
Oh, yes.
obvious
Oh,
in
yes.
just talking to you. And
Yes.
anybody who would be fortunate enough to be a client of yours would feel that and would be, have such a great thing to have you plan their event.
Thank you. Thank
One
you.
of the backgrounds that we both have, and for me especially, was I had lived in Cambridge for many years, and I loved the city of Cambridge. But when I decided that I wanted to purchase a home, was to look at the surrounding communities, and one of the areas that I looked in was Everett, and what I was looking for was what my spirit entails, which is the town and the spirit and the hospitable spirit of a town like this. And so there was no other community that I could buy and live in but Everett. And similar to what Yemisi was saying, I was just going to get my meter taken care of, and Everett has so many pleasant people. Wow,
Oh, it
they're
does,
so,
it
they're
does.
so they're so friendly,
Yeah.
And so when I searched for a place, it just showed me the line of work that I do, which is into the hospitality business, and it just showed that Everett very much it fit right in for me, and I have not looked back. Just such a wonderful town, wonderful
It is.
city, and what we do is the passion of hospitality, and it's just a pleasant place to be, where we do this for a living, but we also I also live in it. She lives in another town, but she spends as much time in Everett.
In Everett,
We're
too.
working on.
We'll win her over.
We'll win over.
Well, that's nice for me to hear, because I've
Yeah.
been in Everett all my life.
Yes,
And
yes.
you know what, I've never moved, I've never gone anywhere,
Yes.
and I love being here.
Yes, it's
Because
a
I feel the
beautiful
same way
city.
about this
Beautiful city.
community.
It's great.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
do. But, anyway, it was wonderful having you on, right,
It was.
Carol?
Thank
It
you
was.
so much.
And
Thank you.
I can
Yes.
attest,
Forever.
yes, I mean, I can
Having us.
attest to just a graduation party a year ago for my daughter. You don't realize how many details there
Yes.
are in an event
The
until
guest
you start
lists
planning.
and
I
so
mean,
forth. Mhm.
how many chairs, where you're gonna
Yes.
get them, the weather, the RSVPs don't come back, and then you got the food, and you go to the caterer to get the food, and then you don't have the oven space, and it just goes on and on and on. And then you're
Absolutely.
supposed to be happy and smile at the actual event, and you're
And you're crabby.
nervous, and you're just cranky, and afterwards you just want to die.
No, I'm
So
sure
it
you're
just-
very gracious in the end of it.
I would have welcomed you to handle that event. Is
Thank you.
not that it was that big of a deal, but no, you brought up a good point with the vendors too. And I assume that if you have a long-term relationship with a vendor,
Yes.
they're more apt if something does go wrong
Exactly.
to go the extra mile for you
Absolutely.
versus someone who might be using them on a one-off basis. So,
That's right.
I mean,
That's
as good as they
Yeah.
can be, you're still,
Mhm.
they're still human, and it makes a difference if you're getting a lot of work from someone or you're just getting one event. So
That's right.
Absolutely.
I wish you the best of luck, and I'm sure
Thank you.
Rosemary,
Thank
you
you.
do too.
Thank
you so much
Absolutely.
for having
And I'm
us.
sure
Continued
we'll be
luck, I
seeing
mean,
you
yes.
at a lot of events now.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you. We really appreciate you taking the time to have us on.
Oh, well,
Yes,
thank you
thank you.
for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that concludes another segment of Chamber Chatter. Thank you, Rosemary, and thank you, Dan and Yamasi.
Thank you.